Welding is more than just a technical skill. It is a powerful engine driving Africa's industrial transformation. It is an invisible force behind construction, manufacturing, infrastructure, energy and transportation. No modern industry can thrive without welding. Across the African continent, there is a growing demand for self-sufficient and localized industrial growth.
Welding is a key of technology. You cannot find any industry without welding. So started from transportation, erection, petrochemicals and oil, every industry has welding. So if we have the capacity and we have the skill to perform welding, that means we are able to make high quality industry, okay? And this help all African country economics. This from one level, and the second level, it has many chances for young people to work and we find job for them. And also if we are very qualified and with high standard, that means we will not import product from Europe or other places, that we are able actually to manufacture all our needs and our necessary equipment here in Africa. That is why welding is very important.
As Africa shifts away from dependency on imported technologies and raw material exports, welding becomes central to value-added manufacturing. The Welding Federation is a Pan-African organization headquartered in South Africa. Its mission is to domesticate and institutionalize welding expertise across the region to serve the growing needs of Africa's manufacturing and industrial sectors. The Federation's membership spans 15 African countries, including South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Ethiopia, among others, and many more in the process of joining.
The first thing for Africa to do is to build an integrated system. There are multiple dimensions to the benefit that an integrated system will cause. In Africa currently, we believe there's an over-focus of everybody in one aspect. Who do we go for aircraft maintenance? Who do we go for shipbuilding? Everybody wants to go oil and gas. We believe that Africa should prioritize TWF, Continental Welding Certificate, not just because it is TWF. It is for what it addresses. It's very, very critical because at the end of the day, we are the developing continent. There are always projects all over Africa, but there are not always jobs all over Africa. There are two different things, having projects and having jobs. Why are there no jobs? Sometimes the issue is that there are no skills. Sometimes the issue is that available skill in Africa is disconnected from the projects. What do I mean by that? There could be highly skilled experts in Ethiopia, and there's a project in Kenya. But because there's no integrated platform where the whole of Africa talks, Kenya will go to Europe or Western countries to import these skills at the detriment of Africans that have such skills.
Today, welding plays a vital and indispensable role across Africa's industrial landscape. In infrastructure, welding is essential to the construction of power plants, water treatment facilities, and commercial buildings. It powers sectors like oil and gas, manufacturing, infrastructure, and transportation. It is a dynamic force from pipeline construction, refinery fabrication, and machinery assembly to the construction of skyscrapers, bridges, railways, and port facilities.
Welding is huge and vast. In Africa, mostly the application of welding now is in oil and gas, in manufacturing, in infrastructural development, buildings, roads, dams, tanks. In oil and gas, we have pipes, pipelines, manufacturing of oil processing plants, refineries, FPSOs. So these are the key areas where Africa is applying welding now. We have not gone down deep into those small precision weldings and other things. We are getting there, which also includes, manufacturing like solar panels, which you need precision welding, and Africa is coming up in that as well. And so many other areas, medical sector, you have a lot of application of welding there. Plus, you know, welding is vast. It's applied virtually in everything. As I said earlier that, you know, no way you will wake up in the morning and go back to bed without using something that has been welded. Be it your wristwatch, your glasses, your shaving stick, up to the spoons or pans we eat, up to the plates we use, out to the cars we use, the road we use, the buildings we are in, where we get our energy, and so many things.
Globally, the welding industry was valued at $21.5 billion in 2022 and is projected to reach $28.6 billion by 2028, growing at a compound annual growth rate of 4.8%. Welding is central to economic resilience and development. It makes infrastructure possible and determines its safety, durability, and efficiency. Welding is a physical connection between Africa's ambition and its industrial future.
Africa is the menu. Africa is not on the table. Our resources makes us the menu, but our lack of systems makes us not to be on the table. That is why sometimes we have resources. You go almost everywhere today in Africa, you have oil and gas. But are we really an oil and gas economy? Is the multiplier effect of having such resources, is it really available? The true answer is no. Because while we celebrate the resources, the critical enablers that will aid you to domesticate the values from those resources, they are not necessarily available. In fact, a lot of Africans participate in the industry, they do not manage the industry. And this is where the problem is. Yes, whether Africa is on the rise, yes, we are getting more conscious. We are seeing more continental integration, more discussions. On TWF, we've seen companies forming alliance through technical collaboration. That is what we want. We want to see a company from Ethiopia partnering with a company from Ghana to execute a major project in Ethiopia if they don't have the capacity. Not when, as long as the value is in Africa, the value content should be retained in Africa. That is where you can start moving to it's not about every time we come to conferences, we sit down and talk. So no, it's about actions.
In countries such as Nigeria, Angola, and Algeria, where oil and gas make up over 40% of export revenues, welding is a key pillar of economic stability. Major infrastructure projects like the 4,400 kilometers Trans-Saharan gas pipeline and the East African crude oil pipeline in Uganda and Tanzania and the LNG terminals in Mozambique and Senegal depend heavily on skilled welders. In these extreme environments, welding ensures the structural integrity of high-pressure systems where precision and reliability are non-negotiable.
For all sectors, manufacturing sectors, energy sectors, whenever there is metals, you need welding. And for the oil and gas industry or energy in general, we do a lot of welding, and it's a very high standard because of the safety. You know, we deal with combustible products, and because of safety, our standard for welding is very high, and so the whole sector is a very good sector for employing certified and qualified engineers, welding technicians, inspectors, and all that. And the welding industry plays a vital role in our industry.
Welding is also indispensable in aviation and marine industries. It is used in aircraft frame repair, engine component fabrication, and shipbuilding. With a growing aviation sector, countries like Ethiopia and Kenya rely on certified welders to ensure air travel remains safe and reliable. In construction, welding enables the assembly of self-reinforced structures, telecom towers, water systems, and electrical grids. With Africa's urban population projected to reach 1.5 billion by 2050, the demand for welded infrastructure is increasing rapidly, from affordable housing to urban utilities.
For all Africa, it varies from one region to the other, but still we import a lot of material. Of course, we import a lot of finished products, and we still import a lot of expertise. And at my organization, we coordinate among our member countries, as we already said that we have 18 member countries. We coordinate and we collaborate a lot on how to enhance our own capacity and our own expertise to serve our industry instead of relying on imported expertise. When it comes to supplies of equipment and tools and materials, again, we have to help establish manufacturers and suppliers, in addition to, of course, advanced service suppliers within Africa, to lessen our dependence on outside and also to enhance local content participation along the oil and gas value chain.
Welding must be recognized as more than a technical skill. It is a strategic industry, a key enabler of national security, economic resilience, and industrial sovereignty. As Africa pursues self-reliant and inclusive growth, welding should be integrated into a coordinated development strategy that spans defense, energy, manufacturing, mining, agriculture, and construction. Strategic sectors are those that have wide-reaching impacts across multiple areas of national development. Welding supports each of them. Therefore, African governments must adopt national welding codes and quality assurance framework aligned with the global standards such as ISO 3834 and others. Regulatory oversight is essential to avoid infrastructure failure caused by poor welding practices. Welding quality, when managed professionally, can prevent costly and dangerous accidents.
The welder has many tests, and if he doesn't pass these tests, he cannot weld. It's not allowed for him to weld. An inspector also should be in high level, to be able to inspect this, because welding is involved in many critical industries. For example, in boiler, if the welder is not good, that means the weld is not good, so maybe the boiler is exploded. Okay, so that is why it is very, very critical job. So we try to upgrade our capability as African, started from the welder, through the inspector and welding engineers, and from the company level for apply very high qualified industries like ISO and something, and we try also to make our own standardization in Africa.
Welding is also critical to Africa's renewable energy future. It supports the fabrication and maintenance of solar panel structures, wind turbines, hydroelectric systems, and battery storage units. As Africa strives to meet its goal of sourcing 30% of its energy from renewable energy by 2030, welding will play a vital role in building and maintaining sustainable infrastructure.
It's collaborating with Afrexim Bank to build the Africa Energy Bank, and this will be dedicated to support the industry in its projects and operations. And in addition to this, we collaborate a lot of initiatives, as I said, to support how we sustainably exploit and continue exploiting our resources for the benefit of Africa. Africa needs to develop, Africa needs to industrialize, and in fact, this is the century of Africa, and we cannot be doing that effectively without oil and gas. So we are defending our position that we want to use our oil and gas. We cannot really abandon these very valuable resources, and we are heavily dependent on these resources even today. So there is a common stand that we will continue utilizing and exploiting our oil and gas.
The second and third African annual welding competition were hosted in Nigeria and Ethiopia respectively. These events have played a significant role in developing welding talent across the continent. Organized by the Welding Federation, they brought together participants from over 15 African countries, including Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Nigeria.
African Welding Federation, TWF, is an organization that we are trying to make cooperation between all the African countries, and we try to make our standardization, and we want to make upgrade to our technology level, not even in one country. No, we'll spread this all in African country. So that is why we have every year one assembling meeting and one conference in different African countries. First one, it was in Cairo, in Egypt, in 2023. Second one was in Nigeria, Lagos, 2024, and this year here in Ethiopia. And I would like to take a chance to really thank Ethiopian people and the Ethiopian organization, the people who host this event. Actually is very well organized and very nice, and actually Ethiopia has a power.
The 2025 African Welding Competition reflects the continent's growing commitment to building a skilled, capable workforce. These competitions contribute to job creation, technical innovation, and industrial sustainability. Through collaboration, membership, and competition, Africa is shaping a future where local talent drives industrial progress. Welding offers a powerful solution to youth unemployment in Africa. With more than 60% of the population under the age of 25 and youth unemployment exceeding 35% in some countries, welding provides an avenue to well-paying jobs, entrepreneurship, and national development. Skilled welders prepare and manufacture farm equipment, build solar infrastructure, assemble electric vehicles, and produce steel components for housing and public utilities. These are real achievable opportunities rooted in local knowledge.
In terms of job creation, as we have mentioned, for example, welding. You have a pipeline project, let's say, building a pipeline from one point to another. You require hundreds and hundreds of welders. You are making a building like this. You require a lot of welders. They need to weld the trusses, the beams. You are building a refinery, like the huge one built by Dangote. You need thousands of welders. So empowering the youths, training them at all levels, because welding is not only the one doing the weld. It starts from that one up to the welding engineer, who has the technical knowledge and ability to sit down and design the weld. And then the welder at the last guy who will go and make the weld. So it's a chain. And that chain, if it is broken, the whole system collapses. So you need to have trained people right from the top to the very bottom, who are well trained, who are well educated, who are well certified to be able to carry out this. Now, training these youths in Africa, it's an addition for job creation, reduce redundancy, reduce crime, get people into a mind of doing something. And it's a technical knowledge and a skill that you can go and apply anywhere in the world.
With investment in technical and vocational education and training, African countries can train youth in high-demand welding techniques. These include pipe welding, structural steelwork, stainless fabrication, and robotic welding. Such training unlocks jobs in formal industries and informal markets, empowering youth to launch businesses and fabricate local tools and machinery. Welders enable nations to construct, maintain, and advance critical systems in agriculture, housing, energy, and mobility.
Every company in Africa should not look for money, they should look for technology transfer. And the whole welding technology as such is really in progress. A lot of new ways of doing it is popping up. And I think that the African welding organization that stand behind the welding, they should really try to get as much foreign technology into their businesses here and not focus too much for looking for new businesses or money, because it will come if the African welders understand to grow organically, which means grow with the customers, get customers, and then grow gradually. Don't build huge facilities in order to get or attract big contracts from the rest of the world.
Africa's industrial future depends on targeted investment in modern training, advanced welding equipment, strong public-private partnership, and forward-looking national policies and support local manufacturing. With abundant natural resources, youthful energy, and emerging technical expertise, Africa is well positioned to become a major player in the global economy.
We will grow like China did from 2001, when they became member of the World Trade Organization, to now, 2025, where China reached the point where the salaries or the costs are too high. Africa is exactly where China was in 2001. So we are ready, with hundreds of millions of young people ready to take over the manufacturing. So for me, I see this as an opportunity. The rest of the world is kind of collapsing a little bit around ourselves. The supply chain, the globalization is broken. So that gives space for other players. So for me, there's a lot of natural resources under the surface, but the most important thing, or the biggest asset of Africa, walks on the surface. These are the human beings. And they're ready to fight for the continent and make sure that, that in 20 years, Africa is playing the major role in assembling of consumer electronics. That's my goal.
Welding symbolizes progress, opportunity, and independence being forged into Africa's industrial future.